Hey, what's up guys? Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's gonna be Blue Eyes. Now, this might not exactly be the best Blue Eyes deck you've ever seen, but it's still a pretty good deck, and I kind of based it off of one of my friend's Yu-Gi-Oh decks. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's fairly competitive, although I didn't exactly do his exact deck because I don't have his list. So this is similar, but it's not the exact same, so there might be a few differences. So just keep that in mind as his deck was a lot better than this. So without further ado, let's get into it. So basically the whole premise of this deck is to get out some of your extra deck Blue Eyes monsters. Basically this deck can either be rank 8 spam, or it can be summon big blue eyes extra deck monsters, or you could just settle for summoning a blue eyes up to 3 blue eyes per turn. Once he actually did spam that on me, and then I Raigeki'd him. It was really sad. He was sad. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So starting things off, I play 2 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This is probably your strongest card in the main deck. It's unaffected by card effects basically. It can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And this was kind of a problem card when I was setting up for consistency, because the problem is that this card can only be summoned through Chaos Space, and Chaos Space is gonna be a brick unless you have this in your hand. That's why ritual summoning isn't that good. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon actually saw quite a bit of competitive play in recent times, but it was in a far better deck than this. So yeah. Then I played 3 copies of Blue Eyes. A lot of people call this deck Brick Eyes because you have so many bricks in the deck. Because if you draw into like a super bad hand of basically any of these in your starting hand, you basically instantly lose, because the rest of your deck is based around being able to summon him, which you should be able to summon literally all your other cards except for maybe Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, but that's a one-of in the deck. So I did put quite a few consistency cards in here, including Dangers, and I added some draw spells in the deck. I was sad that I couldn't run Allure of Darkness. I wish they had a card like Allure of Brightness where you could just run it for light decks, but I guess that'd be too much of a cop out. Then I played 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. This card single-handedly made Blue Eyes competitive a few years back, because its effect is you can must first be special summoned by revealing a Blue Eyes in your hand, and then you can only special summon it once per turn. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Then once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn it activated its effects. So basically, it's a free beater on the field. Like, it's really powerful, and it's basically a free special summon if you have a Blue Eyes in your hand, which really works out if you just need a free special summon. Which, I mean, who doesn't like a free special summon? Then I play 3 copies of Whitestone of Ancients. The reason I'm running Shield Crash down here is because there's a decent combo that can just end you with a Blue Eyes on the board, which isn't bad because a lot of decks just can't beat over that. Of course, most competitive decks like Elblich can summon a Golden Lord with 3500, or like Numeron Guru can summon a Numeron or Zexal with over 3000. So there are a few decks that can beat over it, but other than that, there aren't a ton of decks that can. So 3 copies of that, plus combo to summon out of Blue Eyes. 2 copies of White Stone of Legend. I was thinking about bumping this down to 2 and bumping the Chaos Max Dragon down to 1 to run Ash Blossom, but I decided against it as I kind of liked this as like a sort of way to just get to your Blue Eyes, because like if you have a alternative White Dragon in your hand, it'll be a brick unless you have a Blue Eyes. So then I play 2 copies of Protector with Eyes of Blue. We're on to the Eyes of Blue cards. So when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 1 light monster from your hand. So this can help summon literally any of your Eyes of Blue cards, and you can summon your White Stone of Ancients. This deck has a lot of level 1 tuners, but the problem is you can only really go into level 9 synchros because all your other monsters are level 8. So that could be an issue if it comes up, but other than that, like, um, you're gonna be able to go into some decent synchro plays. Then I play 1 copy of Master with Eyes of Blue. This card can add one from your graveyard to your hand. Priestess with Eyes of Blue. This one, you can send one effect monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, add up to 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. So this can really help with fusion plays, especially with cards like Twin Burst. Then I play 1 copy of Maiden with Eyes of Blue. This is just kind of a Battle Fader-esque card. It's not bad, but it's just a one of. I figured I'd not be willing to play more than one of it. So yeah, that's it for the Eyes of Blue cards. Play 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon just because Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is a great card and it helps renew cards. And I do play Pisty and Elpie in this deck, so this is a good target if you have like a Blue Eyes in your graveyard. So you can pretty consistently go into it. But if you have it in your hand, it's gonna end up being a brick because a lot of your cards aren't dragon. Although you could use White Stone of Ancients and then yeah. Then I play 3 copies of Danger Bigfoot just because of consistency, and it's a 3000 beater. 2 copies of Danger Dogman again because of consistency, and this is probably the cheapest Danger card. Then I play 3 copies of Successor Soul. This card was literally made for Blue Eyes. I don't know what exactly is on the card. Like, it looks like Blue Eyes, but then it's just kind of weird. But you contribute 1 effect monster, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, then special summon 1 level 7 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck. So this can help summon your Blue Eyes, as well as if you have a White Stone of Ancients and your opponent has a card, you contribute both, or you can pop both of them. Then since this card was sent to the graveyard, you can consistently pull that off, and then you get 2 Blue Eyes on the field, which you can use to go into like a level 8 Xyz play. Then I play 2 copies of Pot of Avarice because you're gonna be popping your White Stone of Ancients, and these you're gonna end up sending to the graveyard quite a bit. So just some renewal because a lot of your cards are. It's basically a half and half deck of spells and traps, or spells and monsters. So you're gonna pretty consistently be able to get enough monsters in your hand to use Pot of Avarice. Then I play 2 copies of Pot of Desires. This is kind of your first turn draw, just in case, like, oh, I have like a Blue Eyes in my hand and I need a White Stone of Ancients. So yeah, just consistency's sake. Then I play 2 copies of Chaos Form. This is kind of a risky play because if you end up with one of these and don't end up with the other, it's gonna be a total brick and you're never gonna be able to do anything. But Chaos decks can pretty consistently use it because this is a Chaos Max Dragon, and this is probably like top tier Chaos card, even though Blue Eyes can't use it very effectively. So that's the ritual spell. 2 copies of Polly, just in case you want to go into like an alternative Ultimate Dragon or a Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So yeah, this is just really good. Then I play 2 copies of Shield Crash, just in case like you're stuck. You have like a White Stone of Ancients in your hand. and you have a bunch of assorted cards in your hand. Just to get your play started, you can destroy the White Stone of Ancients, and if worst comes to worst, you could just end your turn and summon the Blue Eyes from your deck. So, pretty good play. Then I play for the one-ofs one Golden Sarcophagus, just in case you want to search out, like, a White Stone or, like, your Successor Soul. Just pretty good. I ran across a Mystic Mind player while I was playing testing Thunder Dragons this morning, and it was so annoying. So this can definitely help. You definitely want to side deck some spot removal. I learned that the hard way. So yeah. Then one copy of Monster Reborn, one Raigeki, and one Harpy's Feather Duster. I finally decided to run one Harpy's Feather Duster just because it's probably one of the best cards in the game at this point. And I decided not to run Called by the Grave because this deck has way too many bricks in it. Like, the problem is this deck can't use Called by the Grave, because if you end up with Called by the Grave, you don't have any or have enough combo pieces. So I decided against running it because it's a dead card in your hand unless you get, like, I don't know, hand trapped, but even then it doesn't really matter. So that is it for the main deck. Main deck's pretty solid. If not, I'm still questioning these and maybe bumping down White Stone of Legend, but everything else is pretty consistent, and Blue Eyes is still a decent archetype, even if it's not the most competitive anymore. Then I play for the extra deck one Blue Eyes alternative Ultimate Dragon. I decided against, like, playing Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi and running the Blue Eyes Ultimate. Your opponent cannot um oops. Your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with card effects. Once per turn, target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card was fusion summoned using a monster whose original name was Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon as fusion materials, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls instead. This card cannot This card cannot attack the turn this effect was activated. Really overpowered effect, on top of just some great stats in general. Like, if you wipe their field turn 2, then they can't really do much. Then I played 2 copies of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. At the start of the damage step, or at the end of the damage step, if this card is the only face-up card you control, and it is fusion summon, and this fusion summoned card attacked, you can send one Blue Eyes Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then this card can attack again in a row. Then you can use this effect once up to twice per turn. So this card can attack up to 3 times with a 4,000 body, which is really powerful. Then during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Really, really powerful effect, on top of just having a great body, and, yeah, it's a good card in general to go into. I only play 2 Polymerization, just in case if you want to go into either of those cards, it's going to be definitely really powerful to do so, and you're definitely going to have your opponent's definitely going to have a lot of trouble getting over it. Then I play 2 copies of Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Must be fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard, in which case you do not use Polymerization. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Uh, this card can make up to 2 attacks on a monster during each battle phase, and then at the end of the turn, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but your opponent monster was not destroyed by battle, you can banish that opponent's monster. So, really good. This card can attack multiple times. It's got a 3,000 body. It's same as Blue Eyes, but still, it's got a really good effect on it. And I used to have a lot of trouble getting around this since it couldn't be destroyed by battle, and I didn't run much spot removal other than, like, Raigeki. But a lot of the Blue Eyes cards can't be destroyed by card effect too, which makes it really good for being just immune to everything. So Moving on, one copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Neither player can special summon two or more monsters with the same name or at the same time than once per turn. During either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation. This is kind of like a substitute called by the grave. Even though the cards don't activate in the graveyard, it's kind of the cost to send them to the graveyard, but either way, it still works out pretty well. And if worse comes to worse, I just realized the card that I was missing in this deck. I just realized it. I was missing Blue Eyes Spirit, or the Spirit of White, or whatever the heck it's called. But forget that. Moving on, one Galaxy Eye Cipher, one Hope Harbinger, and one Dragluon. All really, really good cards, dragon cards. Dragluon is definitely really good when it comes to consistency. Hope Harbinger is a great card for negation. And then Galaxy Eye Cipher Dragon is Galaxy Eye Cipher Dragon. So yeah. Then I do play one Galaxy Eyes Full Metal Photon Dragon. Uh, I can summon this by using the Cipher Dragon as material, so that's why I play it. Then for the Link monsters, one Saryuja Skull Dread, one Boral Sword, one Guard Dragon Pisty, and one Guard Dragon Elpie. Saryuja is just, you're not going to go into it that often, but if you want to use your Elpie Pisty play, you're going to end up going into it, just last ditch move. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Again, I did miss a few cards, and I'm sorry for that. But I'd say the deck is not that bad. Definitely pretty consistent, even though it is Brick Eyes. So yeah, you have multiple ways of getting into your Blue Eyes, with multiple ways of drawing into your combo pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you think I should change. And yeah, I will see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.